Tonight I have that quarter sawn spruce patch there that I glued on with the weight and that high density foam using that jointed block and then my little sanding sticks that I made up you saw in the other video. And now we're just sort of ultra finessing this neck to body angle to get it so that that straight edge just kisses the rosewood of the bridge. And then we'll be in complete control, set the action for whatever gauge, whatever tuning. It's funny how I mentioned re-engineering last video. Well, there's a few things that needed to be re-engineered. Here is the pieces that we glued on that you saw in the last video. Right here, there is a piece of rosewood that was sort of shaped into a wedge and then driven in with a rosewood bridge blank. I kind of reached in and with the edge of it just kind of drove that in with a mallet so that we immobilize that sort of tipping head block. We did end up getting the neck to body angle right. That spruce shim was sanded and shaped to get the perfect neck to body angle for the optimum action at the bridge. So here's an example of another re-engineering job. This is a very early Norman guitar. Obviously there were a few issues that needed to be dealt with. The saddle was not really in the right place. Sorry, can't tune it. Well, it tunes perfectly now. You can see how much I needed to move that forward. Almost the total thickness of the saddle again was adhered to the front edge of the bridge with super glue and then shaped and intonated to get this thing to tune. And of course we've got our compensated nut. So this is the nut that was on there, and you can see there's sort of like a circular cut out of the bottom side. The reason for that is because the stop tab for the truss rod sort of protrudes out underneath the fingerboard on this end, and it was disrupting the lay of the nut on the ledge. So I had to do the same thing to the inside of my compensated nut. I had to make that relief cut to get that to fit perfectly. Although most of the guitars that I work on tend to be probably Gibsons more than anything, Gibsons, Martins, Fenders, Larave's, more high-end stuff, I actually do quite a bit of work on mid-priced and lower-end guitars because it's not always about price. This is not a very expensive guitar, but it means something to Jack. He's had it a long time. And so there's an intrinsic value kind of tied to a lot of these instruments that may not have a great monetary value. You know, for example, I mean, I've had guys that, you know, had the guitar that their wife gave to them as a college graduation gift, or they got it when they were married, or my Uncle Jed gave it to me when I was 12, that kind of thing. It's not always about the monetary value of the guitar. If the guitar doesn't play in tune, well, you're not likely to pick it up. So everything I did to this guitar, it wasn't self-indulgence, it was a matter of doing what needed to be done to get the guitar to be stable, play perfectly in tune, and have the action nice and silky smooth. So the bridge needed to be re-engineered. That piece needed to be added ahead of the saddle in order for the guitar to play in tune. The frets were leveled, dress crowned, and polished. The compensated nut was cut. We covered it up pretty good. The action is great. For the first time since it was made, this guitar is playing in tune. I don't buy into this close enough for rock and roll stuff. The guitar is in tune or it's not in tune. And that's why anyone whose life depends on intonation, like violinists or conductors of symphony orchestras, trumpet players, any of those guys, when someone pulls out a guitar, that's why they cringe, because most guitars, most of the time, are not even close. Well, this one's bang on the money. Any chord, any fret, any string, anywhere. No struggle, pick up the guitar, relax, and play. So as you can see, there was a lot of things this guitar needed to bring it up to snuff. So now Jack can just relax around the campfire, strum a few tunes. This is as smooth as butter and perfectly in tune. Well, the Stratford Festival's staging Long Day's Journey into Night. I thought it would be appropriate for what I went through to get this thing to tune. value is, the thing still has to play in tune. This always irked me, is if a piano was wildly out of tune, you'd get it tuned. Other instrumentalists just assume, well, it's a guitar. They're never in tune. Well, this one's in tune.